I think we can start the webinar. So thanks everybody who's joined us so far. My name is Mai and I'm an advisor here at Nexford University. I've been with Nexford for over 2 years now, and I've spoken with so many learners from all over the world during that time. And one of the main questions I often get is, how exactly will I be learning online at Nexford? You know, some of you might have already tried the online learning experience before, but I can assure you the Nexford learning experience is quite different, and that's what we're here today to tell you more about. And joining me today, I have some lovely people with me. I have Dr. Bill Reed, one of our faculty members at Nexford. We also have an MBA learner, Clarissa Lee, sorry, and we have John Saeed as well, another MBA learner. So please, if you guys can also introduce yourself, starting with John.
Absolutely, would love to, Mai. Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is John Saeed. I'm an MBA learner. I started in June of this year, 2021. I currently live in Virginia, the United States, and so far I love my learning experience in Nexford University because to me the most important factor is making sure that the studies goes a long way with having a full-time job, being a full-time dad and a full-time husband, and that's the best thing about Nexford, that is work on my schedule, not the other way around.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing, John. All right, Steph, you can please also introduce yourself and, of course, what program you're studying at Nexford.
Hi, I'm Clarissa from Singapore, and I'm currently an MBA learner with Nexford. I belong to the July 2021 intake, and I'm currently at my 4th and 5th course. I have a teenager son, and I'm working as an admin in the REIT industry, the real estate investment trust industry. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. All right, thanks, Clarissa. Okay, last but not least, Dr. Bill, if you could also please introduce yourself and what you teach at Nexford.
Hi, May. Thank you. Hi, I am Dr. Bill Reed. I live about 100 kilometers south of New York City. I've been with Nexford about 1.5 years, a little bit more. I've been teaching online for about 20 years. I started way back around 1999. Most of my teaching has been online, although I have done some courses on ground classes as well with some local universities. I teach in the area of business and business management. I do teach some of the international classes as well, about African continent, China, and so on. It's a heck of a lot of fun for me. I enjoy talking to everybody and everybody's experiences from various corners of our earth. I enjoy working with the international people involved. I think it's a lot of fun to do that. We have some great conversations about the products in one country versus another country. A lot of our classes also focus around organizational behavior and things like that. So when you join, I look forward to being with you. I usually see you in one of your first couple classes, but we can talk more about that later once we get into our presentation this morning. So thank you and welcome.
All right, thanks, Dr. Bill. Okay, I'll start sharing my screen so that everybody can have a look at the Nexford online platform. Give it a few seconds here. All right, I believe you can all see my screen now. So what you're looking at right now is the actual Nexford online learning platform. So this is called Nextly. That's short for Nexford learning learning platform, right? Environment, sorry. And what you're seeing right now is the homepage. So this is going to be what you're going to be very used to seeing all the time that when you're studying as an Nexford learner. This is the homepage. Of course, I am not an Nexford learner, so you might be seeing words like demo, or at the top right, it says demo learner 2. Normally, this is where your name should be, where your profile can be as well. And you can choose to enroll in as many courses as you want, up to 4 courses at the same time. So these are the courses that you're seeing right in front of you. I have enrolled myself in 4 courses, which is the maximum amount of courses you can enroll yourself from your program at the same time. And I'll get into that a little more later on, but let's first talk about the different elements that you're going to get used to seeing in the homepage. So on the left side here, you're going to see what we call the navigation pane. So you'll see some useful buttons such as your locker, where you can upload your own files. You can have your own circle where you can even add friends, you can add your professors and so on. You can join certain groups, and of course have an overview of the courses that you're currently enrolled in. And then at the bottom, you'll see some shortcuts. So these are shortcuts to extra benefits and resources you have access to as an Nexford learner. So I will also get into those a little later on. But let's jump to the right side here as well. You'll see just a little calendar over here. If you click on that, it'll take you to the full calendar. And you'll see it's really as dynamic as any calendar you might have used before, right? So you'll see that a lot of the events or the items in the calendar is color coded. So depending on what item that belongs to. You can add your own events. You can make it as descriptive as you want. You can let it repeat. And the great thing is that you can even download the calendar onto your mobile phone or your PC. So you have that option as well. That way you can stay connected to anything in your calendars. And then over here, you'll see this little online window, right? So what that is, you can have a view of all the learners as well as success advisors, which I'll tell you more about also later in the webinar. You'll also find professors here that are currently online from all around the world. So currently we have learners from over 85 countries around the world. So you can find literally anybody online at the same time that you are. You'll have the option to check out their profile. You can send a private message to them. Or even have a live chat. So some of them will have this option turned off, it depends. But if you like, we definitely encourage you to start, getting connected and start networking with, the global learner community that you have access to. Right, sorry guys, it's taking just a moment on my end here to open up. Right, I just want to check though with you guys. Can everybody hear me just fine?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
I will just do a little refresher here just to make sure that everything is loading up properly for you guys. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. All right. Let's try again. Okay, so that's about the online window, right? So you'll also find at the bottom here it says announcements. So what that is, sometimes you'll find faculty or someone like Caroline Fernandez, who is a writing lab coach, who I'll tell you more about also later. You'll see that she does a lot of these announcements, and it can be anybody. There can be announcements from our success team, it can be from our IT team, it can be from professors as well. So any notable announcements that we want our learners to know, you would receive notifications for these in your email inbox. You can also check them out here on the online platform in the announcement section. And if you choose to download the mobile app, so we do have a mobile app, you can download something called Neo LMS. And once you get your login credentials as an Nexford learner, you'll be given all the details to how to connect that to your online platform, the Nexford online platform as well, and where you can access your courses, right? So just note that you can access your courses, you can study on your phone, but you would still need a PC or a laptop to do your assignments. Having said that, once you have the application, if there are any notable announcements that we want our learners to know, you can receive notifications for that straight on your mobile phone as well. All right, and last but not least, you'll see this Ask NXU tool at the bottom right of the screen, right? So this is something I don't want you guys to forget about at all as a Nexford learner. This is a really useful tool. It's for all the common questions we get, any FAQs. So if you have any question you feel that is maybe quite simple, or you don't necessarily need to reach out to the success team or help team or something to ask this question, you can just type it out here, and I assure you, you're gonna find a response. For example, you want to learn more about what the orientation is all about. So you can just search for that here. You'll even find some screenshots that makes it even easier for you to figure out. And if this still doesn't answer your question, if you scroll to the bottom, you're always going to find who else you can reach out to get more information. And with that, since I was telling you guys about the orientation, I want to actually show you what our orientation is all about. So what is an NXE orientation? I want you guys to consider this as your welcome package once you enroll at Nexford. So the welcome package, or the orientation rather, is what's going to tell you everything you need to know about the Nexford learning experience. So you get access to this 5 days before your chosen program start date. So let's say you've enrolled and you're about to start your program on January 1st. 5 days before that, you're going to receive an email from our team. You're going to meet your success advisor, and you're going to have the chance to log in and go through our platform and take the NXE orientation, which you'll be required to complete before you start your official program. So the orientation, unlike any course at Nexford, does not have 6 modules, right? So this instead has 3 modules, as well as a start and a finish, right? And a closing. So normally at Nexford, the way the courses work is that you would need to finish 1 module in order to unlock the module after that. All right, let me show you. If I were to click on start here, it's going to take you to the NXE orientation. So this window will pop up, right? And of course, we're going to give you a little welcome. We're going to tell you everything you need to know step by step. So as soon as you start the first module, or the introduction for the NXE orientation, you're going to see a welcome actually from Nexford's CEO and founder, Fadil Tarzi. So you'll see there's even a little video here. I'll play this for you guys just for a few seconds.
It's been said that the future is a convenient place for dreams, so why not dream big? I've always known education changes lives, but I first realized its impact over a decade ago. On my entrepreneurial journey, I saw a gap between the skills of college graduates and the needs of employers. With my own startups, I struggled to find people with the right competencies. For example, I couldn't find a software engineer with effective communication skills. I couldn't find the creative designers who could plan.
So that's just a little sneak peek for you guys. Of course, you can watch it in its entirety, hopefully, once you enroll at Nexford. So I just want to let you know that this is a small example of the different, or the dynamic elements through which you're going to be studying at Nexford. So it's not just going to be a lot of text. You're going to find videos like this. You're also going to find there are audio clips, there are outside resources that's going to take you outside of the platform as well. Blog length articles, little, interactive elements where you're going to need to do little quizzes, put little things in certain boxes and so on. So there's so many different ways you're going to be studying at Nexford. We just always make sure to keep you engaged. And you'll see that for any video in our courses, there's always going to be a written transcript that you can download, which is really helpful. And after this video, you'll see that you have the option to even email our CEO directly. So this comes to show sort of how, I guess I would say, transparent the Nexford family is. We do call ourselves the NXU family. Once you join us, you'll see that you can, with time, eventually just be able to speak with anybody in the team. If you need to reach out to our marketing team for any reason, or our success team, our help team, billings, our tech team, and so on. So there's always somebody to reach to depending on the inquiry that you have. And as you go along the introduction and the NXE orientation, you'll learn more about all the different programs that Nexford has to offer, what the specializations are for MBA learners. Of course, we also have specializations for our BBA. You'll learn everything about when the courses start, when they finish, what the deadlines are, what is the syllabus all about. So there's a syllabus that you can download actually for any course at Nexford. So that includes some really helpful key information that you can get to know before you even start your course. And as soon as you finish the orientation, you're going to see that we encourage you right away to actually post in our discussion forum. So let me show you how that looks like. So the discussion forum is a place in the beginning, like this is actually embedded in a lot of our courses, right? But for the orientation, it's a place where we recommend you to really, introduce yourself to the global learner community. So for example, for this learner, they wrote a lot about themselves, what they're currently doing. They even put their social media profile, they put a photo. So it's completely up to you, of course, how much you share, but it's a great way to sort of get acquainted with the community. All right, and with that, I want to go back to the homepage here. And I want to imagine, let's say that you have enrolled yourself in an MBA course, for example. And it's starting next month, right? So let's say that is leadership and organizational development. And you want to know before you even start the course who your actual professor is, right? So before you get started, normally you would still have the option to have a view of all the, of course, the modules, like an overview of what the modules are in this course. And like I said earlier, it's going to have 6 modules as well as a final project, right? You see these tabs at the top. If you navigate to the Welcome tab, that's going to include some really helpful information for you to get to know before you even start the program. So like I said earlier, there's going to be a syllabus. Let me open that up for you. And if you scroll to the bottom, so like I said, you're going to find information before you even get started. If you wish to know who your course professor is, actually, you can always scroll to the bottom to see who the faculty is. You'll see there's a specific email address that you can email if you have specific questions to this professor. You can even book a one-on-one. And with that, I would love for Dr. Bill actually to tell us a bit more about this course.
Hi, yes. Well, as it says, it's about leadership and organizational development. It is a very informative course, has a lot of components to it. Yet it's manageable. As May said, there are 6 modules in the course. And I strongly suggest when you take these courses, you take these modules in a numbered sequence. They are built upon each other to move forward through the entire course. You will find some sections more challenging than others, depending on your background. You will find some writing assignments more challenging than others, depending on your writing skills. As May mentioned, we have a writing professional on board to help you with that. So it's really, really helpful to keep in contact and develop the learning skills as you move through it as well. These are basically 8 weeks. One of the key things that I like to do is to be available for questions. You can ask them through the course or through email or through the email you just saw that May pointed out. The purpose here is to keep a schedule. Whatever your schedule is, of course, the key here is flexibility. Still, you need to have a plan on completing the course on time, whatever your time frame may be. I suggest you set yourself a time frame and try to stick to it. One of the critical things for people who do get distracted or something, you get off track, you get a little behind, and it's sometimes difficult to catch up. Well, one of the things by setting your own plan is to stick to it, and we try to help you do that. And I just see we went back to this screen, but that's okay. The courses the modules are reviewed frequently to grade you. We have a few days to do that. In my class, you could expect feedback in no more than 2 or 3 days. There are busy times where we get a little more, need a little more time, up to maybe 4 or 5 days. But the course itself is really simple to navigate. You can go through it in rather quick order. And the issue, one of the key things, and Kay, if you want to talk about this more too, is about the feedback we give you on the course. So we're going to go to that now, May.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dr. Bill. So definitely about feedback. The great thing is that, yeah, let me show that to you. So one of the common questions we get, of course, is how exactly will I be doing my assignments, or how do they look like? So we have two types of assignments, one of which is called an optional self-assessment. So the fact that it's optional also means that it's not being graded. So this is sort of like a knowledge check for you. You know, if you've gone through the course and you feel you have, you know, you want to be able to do this activity, you can definitely do it, and then show you how. Like I said earlier, you're going to be learning through many different types of formats, right? Or different elements. So sometimes you'll be taken out to an outside resource that's outside of the platform, such as this. It could be something online, right? And once you do the assessment, all you need to do is just submit it, right? Normally, if it's within, you know, the deadline, you should find a button here that says, you know, submit your assignment, right? Or in this case, the optional self-assessment. So that's one thing. Then there's also, of course, the regular graded assignments. So this is within this course, you'll find a case for change. You have the option actually of creating a case for change for your own organization where you're currently employed, or you can create a case for change for the following fictional scenario for Tesla. I've gone ahead and pretended to actually, you know, submit my own assignment for this, right? So in this case, it's sort of a worksheet, like a table. I'll show you guys how that looks like. And it's a good chance to show you guys Turnitin, which is one of the softwares that we use as well. It's a great grading tool, you know, between the learners as well as our professors. So normally you would have gotten this in a Word document, right? So something that you can edit. And then once you submit it, this is how it looks like and Turnitin. On the right side here where it's blank, this is where my answer should have been. So once you've put in your answers, you can then actually receive feedback from your professor. So this can be in comments such as this. They can actually type out, you know, certain things they wish you could improve on. Even if you've done well, you'll always find that there's feedback, you know, professor feedback as well. I'm sure Dr. Bill maybe has a bit to say about maybe Turnitin as well.
Turnitin is a really good tool. It's nothing to be feared. It's nothing to be afraid of once you understand what it does. Turnitin simply matches your writing against what else is out there in the digital world. We use it as a guide to see where you get your information from in terms of referencing and so on. From the student's perspective, you can use it to see a little bit about your writing style. You can see about how much information you're containing from outside sources. From the grading side, we use it for a number of reasons, most of them the same, and just to see how much is really your original voice. It's important for the professor to see what you know. You can use the references, which you're required to do, and that's great. But in there has to be what you see, what your perspective is, what your observation is of the particular case, of the particular whatever we're talking about at the time. So that's one of the tools we use Turnitin for, and it can be helpful for that. So just keep in mind you need to write in a comprehensive and complete manner. While Turnitin doesn't look for that, it helps you identify it. And your answers need to be complete. If I was to pick one thing about responding to assignments that I see where students need the most work, that would be in keeping focus on the question. Sometimes people tend to drift. We all do. I do. And following through on the focus of the question is so important. And while Turnitin won't do that specifically, once you get used to Turnitin, it can provide guidance in that area. So when you see someone referencing Turnitin or turning up your Turnitin score or anything like that, take it as a learning tool, and then it helps you learn how to write better and be more focused in your writing, and along with the input from your professor.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks for that, Dr. Bill. So actually, I want to ask a question to Clarissa here. You know, can you tell us a bit more about your studying style with Nexford? Like, how do you manage your study schedule around your life?
My studying style with Nexford is try to be consistent in my pace. try to set aside time each day to progress on. But there can be some days where I'm totally caught up with work. I could come back very late at night. So those days I will try to compensate the hours over the weekends, and I will try to spend more hours during the weekends to study as well as do the assignment. And I tend to take it slower than the other fellow learners because I believe in enjoying the journey more in terms of learning. So I have explored taking 2 courses at one go, as well as 2 courses staggered 1 month apart for their start date. I have also tried taking 1 course at a time during the busy month. So I guess for Nexford, the whole idea is about flexibility, especially for adult education. I think it's quite important because we juggle between family and work. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Clarissa. Definitely, I agree with what you said. This is a good thing to note as well for anybody tuning in so far, that that you can choose your pace, right? So I wouldn't say it's completely self-paced, but I would call it a flexible pace. You can study at a flexible pace at Nexford. So what this means is that while there are deadlines to meet for each course, you would need to complete every course at Nexford within 8 weeks. This is definitely more than enough time. Can you imagine? This is 2 months for just 1 course, right? So this is if you go with a slower pace. And then you have the option to complete each course even faster than that, right? So you can complete it faster than 8 weeks. And you can even top it up with other courses. You can take more courses at the same time. So the more courses you're going to be able to take at the same time depends on a few things, of course. It depends on your schedule. It depends on your study goals or your career goals even. It also, depends on your GPA. So how good are you keeping up your grades? Are you able to prove to our team that, you have good enough grades that you can handle having 4 courses at the same time, So what this means ultimately is you can complete your overall program, whether it's an MBA or BBA, at a much faster pace. And with that, regarding assignments and everything, I have a question for you guys, maybe for Dr. Bill. Would you consider time zones are easy to figure out, considering we have learners from all around the world, for submitting assignments and everything? Is it kind of challenging, you think, for learners to figure that out?
Good question. I think learners put more concern to this than's really needed. Everyone here at Nexford deals globally. We're used to it. I can say good morning, good afternoon, and good night and be absolutely correct in any situation. One thing common is I think for the most of us, we're at least all on the same day, so that helps. But all the professors that I know of, we understand this, and we are extraordinarily flexible with that. The school is located in Virginia, in Washington, D.C., so that's kind of like our home plate. I live in that time zone myself, but I totally understand someone from Singapore versus someone from Egypt, different sides of the globe. It's not a major problem from the perspective of the faculty. Where it becomes an issue is when a student has a question, sends in an email, sends in a note, however you communicate it, and you may get a response at an odd hour for you. But for us, it's our normal workday. So that's really the adjustment. In terms of penalizing you or anything like that, I don't know anyone who does that because of this thing. In fact, in the courses, in most courses, there is a time zone converter. And if not, you can easily Google one up. I do it all the time myself. I have my own calendar set up on 3 different, Singapore, New York, and Nigeria, for example. So I can see all the times when I'm setting up my own schedule. So does it take a little adjustment? A little. Is it a big red flag? No. The learning is the most important part. And if you submit it and it comes in an hour or 2 before or after it's supposed to, I wouldn't sweat that at all.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Dr. Bill. Yeah, definitely a time zone converter would help a lot. If not, we always have our friend Google, right? So I think eventually you can be able to figure out the time zones for sure. With that, actually, John, I want to ask you, how has your experience been so far with assessments and assignment submissions, and especially professor feedback as well?
Yes, absolutely. So far, my learning experience have been a lot of fun and excitement. Um, when I first started, I was only enrolled in one course, and I think I was catching up with the pace pretty fast. So when I spoke with my success advisor, she said if I'm going to continue with the same pace, I can actually enroll in two courses instead of one, which will shorten the length of the MBA. And I've been doing that since then. I did not have any setbacks on my schedule. But again, the key here is flexibility. Just making sure that we have a set schedule of catching up to all the studies and the assignments. I believe you can easily enroll in two courses and finish them in 2 months instead of just one course. And the learning experience is a lot of fun. The assignments, there's no stress on making sure that am I catching up with assignments or not? If you have like my deadline is to make sure that all my assignments are submitted 2 days prior to the due date. That's just my goal, and I base my schedule based on it. So if you can put in your schedule based on your learning experience, you can have a lot of fun and no stress in that journey.
It's amazing. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
That's with scheduling as well. We don't want you to worry. You're not going to be alone in that. You're going to have somebody called a success advisor. So let me actually share my screen again and tell you guys a bit more about that. So as soon as you get enrolled at Nexford, like I mentioned earlier, 5 days before you even start your program, you're going to be reached out to by our team. You're going to meet your personal and dedicated success advisor. So this is a title for somebody you can consider basically your coach or your mentor. They're going to be there to guide you, especially in the first few months of your program. They're going to tell you everything you need to know. You're going to be able to reach out to them anytime. And if not them, we have a whole success team that you can reach out to. And also what this means, like you might worry like, oh, okay, well, I have an advisor or a coach at the beginning. If they're not going to be there to guide me afterwards, am I going to be alone? Definitely not. We're going to have a whole team of support. You can literally reach out to anybody in our success team 24/7. And let me show you how. So at the very beginning of the call, I talked about these shortcuts, right? So we have something called a success scheduler. If you were to click on that, it's going to take you to this booking page where you can actually book a 30-minute advising session, or rather a call, right, with any success advisor. So just pick a day of the week, pick a timing, and then you can even choose your actual dedicated or chosen, success advisor, or you can pick any other success advisor in our team. And with that, you can ask them any question related to your program, to learning, the learning experience or scheduling. They can definitely help you with that. That is one option we have. Aside from that, you'll see something called a writing lab, right? So I want to tell you more about that. But before I do, considering since I've been talking about the success scheduler, right, and the success advisors at Nexford, I have another question for John here. Since you talked a bit about scheduling and everything, the support that you've been getting at Nexford, would you consider that you reach out mostly to your success advisor, or have you kind of tried to make friends from around the world?
It's both actually, and it's funny that we have Clarissa here because we both started our first course at the same time, and we spoke on the Nexford environment software, and we got connected, and we even followed each other in LinkedIn. And like last week, when we knew that we're gonna do this webinar together, I was like, yeah, that's funny, because we knew each other from just studying the course. So yeah, you definitely get to know and make friends and share experience with a lot of other students from around the world. So you get to know their background, their experience. So that's a lot of fun. From the studying environment, from the academic part, just having access to a success advisor at any time, any day, any time zone. I reach out to my success advisor a lot. And they always answer any questions I may have, regardless how big or how silly it is. And the conversation itself, it's so friendly and ongoing. So yeah, definitely to answer your question, mate, it's actually both. You enjoy to get to know a lot of students from around the world, and also your success advisor, they kind of guide you and lead the way on where you want to go, what the next steps are, what are the best practices for the questions that I'm asking. So it's a mix of both.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, Clarissa, I'd love to hear from you as well. Like, do you tend to, like depend on your success advisor, or do you kind of reach out to learners as well for support?
I think the success of team has been amazing. They are rostered 24/7. So if I have any question or any issue, I usually will drop an email to them, and whoever is available usually will respond within hours. I have also tried booking the consultation sessions with different advisors before, as well as sometimes to make it quick, I will just chat with them over the MS Teams. And as for like who I will liaise or depend on, whether is it like the fellow learners or the success advisor, it will depend on what sort of issue. If the issue is like more technical issue, I will reach out to the success advisor. As for, let's say, if I want some encouragement, some spur, or sometimes just keep in check with one another, then it will be the fellow learners who most of them have been friendly and helpful. Yeah, so anything else, sometimes I will just, even just chat with them. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Clarissa. Right. So that's a lot, I guess I would say, about the success team support at Nexford and the success advisor support specifically. I actually wanted John to talk a bit about this because we get asked a lot as well, like before anybody takes the decision to sort of commit to a Nexford program. When somebody thinks about studying online and they feel like it's sort of self-paced, we might find some worries about scheduling, like what does this mean for my life? What does it mean for if I have any sort of situation that comes up? Am I ever going to be able to take a break, right? So we get these questions a lot, and the answer is definitely yes. So we have something called an LOA, which is short for a leave of absence, right? So you have a sort of amount of months, I would say, depending on the program that you choose to study at Nexford, for which you can take a break, depending on any sort of emergency or because we understand that life happens, right? So if for any reason you need to take a break from your program, that is definitely optional. So as an option for you, right? So maybe John, you can tell us a bit about your experience with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the LOA on the MBA program, it is very beneficial and useful for all students, because something that happened with me, like I'm currently in that situation. I'm changing jobs and I'm moving across country for my new job. So during this transition, my schedule is getting a little bit hectic and crazy. So I reached to my success advisor again, and I was like, I don't think for the next period I'll be able to catch up with my assignments and my learnings, and I don't want to miss that. So we decided that the best option would be to go on an LOA, which you get 6 months during your MBA studies that you can actually it's a leave of absence. You can use that for any reason you want, either for work, for travels, for any personal reasons. And we decided that I'll take an LOA for 1 month until I'm settled in my new place, my new job, so I can continue my studies. So knowing that I have that option, it's a reassurance that I'll continue my studies. But again, whatever happens in life, my studies will not set me back from anything that would come. It's an option that I can just take a little break, focus on what I need to focus on, and then continue with my studies. So I think this would be a great benefit for all future students, that you have this option, that anything could happen in life. You can take a break and then continue on.
All right, thanks a lot, John, and best of luck with the move, of course, and with the new job.
Thank you.
So that's good. That's good to know that anybody really can, like I said, like John explained as well, can take an LOA for any reason. So that's just, I guess, one of the benefits I would say that you have as an Nexford learner. Let's actually talk about the other things here, the shortcuts that I mentioned earlier. So you're going to see something called library, right? So this is the NXU library. This is really a robust library. It has a ton of information for you. So this can be articles, encyclopedias, research papers. So this is a great tool for you to use during your program for assignments and such. It's a great research tool for sure. You'll see that it covers so many different topics around the world. So that's one of the things. And earlier I mentioned writing lab, right? So you might be wondering what this writing lab is. It isn't a course that you specifically get enrolled in at Nexford. It's not within a specific program. Rather, it's a resource that's always there for you. If you were to click on that, it's going to take you to the writing lab page. I'll show you how that looks like. So what the writing lab is all about is that we know that not everybody is a natural born writer at Nexford, right? You know, you might be having challenges with your academic writing. You might need some, you know, tips and tricks for your English. So this will tell you everything you need to know related to writing and what you need to be able to succeed throughout your program. You'll also be taught something called APA formatting. So you might be required to do certain assignments in a certain format that you've never used before. This will give you all the tools that you need. And if you don't find the answer that you're looking for here, if you still need an extra hand, you can definitely meet our writing lab coach, Caroline Fernandez. So I mentioned her earlier in the announcement section, right? That she does a lot of these announcements. I'll tell you more about that. But here is where you can actually book a one-on-one session with her. So just like you can book a one-on-one session with your success advisor, you can do the same with the writing lab coach. You can even do the same with your professor. So basically you can have that sort of one-on-one conversation with anybody during your program. So if you were to click on this, it'll take you to also this personal booking page with Caroline. And like I showed you earlier, you can just pick a date and time and that's it. And then you're locked in. So this is if you want a one-on-one. So back to the announcement section, this is where she announces a lot that she does these drop-in sessions with other learners. So if you don't want to have a one-on-one and you want to have the chance as well to meet other learners around the world, this is a great option for you. Sometimes we have over 60 learners joining just the one call. It's a great opportunity to meet other learners as well as hear different questions and things maybe that might also help you in relation to writing. That's what the writing lab is all about. Finally, here you're going to see LinkedIn Learning. So if I were to click on that, it takes you to LinkedIn, right? Specifically LinkedIn Learning. If you haven't heard of this before, this is something that LinkedIn has done from a while back. Basically, it gives you the option to watch these videos, right? They can be anywhere from 5 minutes to 4 hours. They cover so many different topics all around the world. Anything you're interested in, you'll most likely find it here. So as an Nexford learner, you have access actually to over 16,000 LinkedIn Learning courses and videos for free. So it's unlimited, right? So as an Nexford learner, it's a great option for you to do additional learning next to your program if you've got the time. If not, you'll find that some of these courses actually are embedded within your program, within your Nexford program. So a lot of our learners love this option. They get these certificates of completion that's actually from LinkedIn Learning. You can add that to your profile, your CV, and so on. So you get to show everybody that you're actually learning on the go. You're not just waiting to get your, MBA or your BBA certificate at the end. You're actually gaining skills, frequently. And aside from LinkedIn Learning, Nexford also, we provide you with these digital badges. So these digital badges aren't for every single course at Nexford, but definitely for some of the courses. If you've done well, if you've completed the course and you've passed, you're going to get these digital badges, which is our way sort of appreciating the hard work that you've done. You can share that on your profile. We have these fun names for it, like data-driven decision maker. You'll see also things like financial decision supporter. So for anybody who's following you, they might be wondering, what does this actually mean? The great thing is if you were to click on it, it's actually going to take you to this official page by Badger with more details on what this badge actually entails and what was the earning criteria, what were the skills and the competencies that you gained to actually be awarded this digital badge. So you'll see that some of our learners make it a hobby sort of collecting these badges as well. All right, and what else? So that is for the digital badges, right? Finally, the last bit I want to talk about as well. So I've talked a lot about success advisor, right? You heard this term a lot during this call. There is something else called a career advisor. So this is a different type of advisor. This is somebody who is specifically there to help you with your career. So just within your third month in your MBA, for example, at Nexford, you're going to meet your career advisor. This is someone who's going to specifically help you craft your CV, teach you how to sort of prepare for interviews, how to grow your career, and so much more. So they're going to have these career planning sessions with you. They're going to actually help you directly with your career as well. That's aside from your career advisor, like I mentioned, you already have access to LinkedIn Learning. And if you're based in Africa, you also get access to IBM Digital Nation Africa. So that's another platform where you can get access to, I would say, more tech-related programs. So there are things that are related to cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and so much more. And then finally, there's Localized. So this is one of our many, I would say, offerings in our career services portal, where you can get to be connected with career coaches and mentors around the world. You also have the option to attend these virtual job fairs around the world. So if you've got the chance, you can just go to localized.world also to learn more specifically about Localized. It's a great platform as well that's really going to help you with your career. Right, and I would say last but not least, this is one of my favorite things as well personally, is that if you don't already know, as an Nexford learner, once you get enrolled, you actually get a tree. So this is, oh wow, last I checked, you guys actually was like 3,000. So we've planted over 4,000 trees so far, right? That's amazing. So anytime a learner enrolls at Nexford, you actually get a tree. So we plant the tree for you. So we have a forest in Tanzania, right? And this is in partnership with Tree Nation to support, the goal for the UN Sustainable Development Goal for quality education as well as climate action. So basically, you're helping us and we're helping you, or we're helping each other, I would say, to make the world much greener, right? So you can learn all about our impact so far. You can learn about, like I said, Tree Nation, who we've partnered up with for this initiative. So this is really one of the exciting things. So once you enroll, you'll get more information about that. You can register your tree. You can even track your tree, right? Is it growing and so on. All right, so that about sums up, I think, the main elements and the things you need to know about the Nexford learning experience. So with that, I want to ask some final questions here.
May I add one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I've been looking at some of the comments in the chat and so on, and a lot of questions about internet connectivity, network issues. You know, the internet is a great, great thing, but it certainly isn't perfect. Depending on where you are and time of the day, it can be different. I'm in a metropolitan area here, and my internet at home is fine. We deal with students who get sent away on work-related jobs into remote areas, and you may only get internet an hour a day or something like that. Don't think we're going to come and get you for missing something. We'll work with you. It happens. I was on a train yesterday for 20 hours thinking I was going to do some grading and I was going to send some emails. Well, our train system in the United States is nice, but they didn't deliver on the internet yesterday. So I missed a couple of messages. Nobody came and yelled at me. We're not going to do that to you either. Just understand the internet is great, but it has its problems depending on where you are. You can be sent to a remote location and might have to miss it a day or two. We understand that. We hear this all the time, and people send me messages in panic about missing something, or it's okay. We'll get over it. It's just another little small bump in the road. I just wanted to mention that because I saw some comments about connectivity and things like that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Dr. Bill. Definitely some great tips, and it's a very important thing to note. So we understand the internet is not always stable, and like Dr. Bill said, we know in certain countries it can suddenly fail you, right, at any given time. The good thing is that we don't have fixed class times, right? So this is you don't have to log in at a specific time at Nexford. You can log in any time of the day, any time of the week, so long as you meet your deadlines for your courses as well as for assignment submissions. Yeah, so sorry about that, Dubem. I understand you're really having issues being able to hear us today, but for anybody who joined late or for anybody who's having issues hearing us, don't worry. As long as you have actually, signed up for this webinar, you're going to receive a recording in your mailbox. So hopefully, when your internet is stable and everything is good, you're going to receive a recording for this that you can watch really at another time. Right, so finally, I want to ask some questions for our lovely learners, starting with John. If you can just tell us a bit about how would you say like your Nexford program has changed your life so far?
Sure. So a lot of the studies that I've been going through, especially like my first course, and which was my favorite, the leadership one, all the stuff that I've learned, I've tried to implement this on my work function as well, and I could see that it benefited me as a person professionally. All the stuff that I've learned, all the stuff that I implemented, I've done. I work with a lot of presentations and a lot of stuff. And even when I started to add how to put a presentation on an APA format, that changed how the audience see my work pretty much. So just taking what I'm studying from the academic and implementing that professionally in my work, I could see that I've gained a lot of experience that affected me and all the people that I work with. So the way that I'm looking at my MBA is not just something that I'll just go through, have it on my resume and move forward. No, I'm looking at it that everything I'll study, I'll try to implement on my professional career so I could move forward as well in that aspect, not just my studies, but in life as general.
Right, amazing. Thanks for sharing, John.
Thank you.
All right, Clarissa, can you also tell us a bit about your Nexford learning journey? Like, what were some of your favorite parts? Maybe what have been some of the challenges so far?
Yeah, some of my favorite parts with Nexford learning journey. Just now, I think you have mentioned that about like the LinkedIn learning, which I enjoy also just going in because we got free access to take some of our courses on our own and get a certificate for whatever that interests us. As well as you have mentioned about the learning lab, because most of the programs that I went through, they don't have this type of component where you get a coach to tell you how to write. And I've actually booked a one-to-one session with the learning lab coach, who is Caroline, about 3-4 times, and really go through grammar issues and the APA style of formatting, this type of issue, which I think is a great thing, because from my understanding of maybe other programs, there isn't this thing in. And the other one of the favorite things that I also enjoy is I get to know a lot of people around the world. Also sometimes chat with them to ask them how are things at their end, so that I can understand like situation outside my own country. And Nexford syllabus, I find it modern, and it keeps in pace with like the current society or the current workplace situation, as well as it keeps up with the technologies. So I find it very practical to study with the syllabus, and instead of just learning classic theories or methodology. And other favorite things that I like about this learning journey is that I can log in anytime that I want to, and I save the time in traveling. And the main challenge, I think, for myself is that I am rather slow, so I'm usually chasing after the assignment deadlines. So I think I have to pre-plan more to make sure that I target more time before each assignment deadline, as well as because I know I'm slower, that's why I don't go for many courses at one go. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Clarissa. All right, so we're close to the end of the webinar here, which means it's time to jump into the Q&A. But just before we do, I would love to just ask for some final advice from both you and John, for aspiring learners.
I think learning is a lifelong journey, and if you ambition yourself having a modern MBA and willing to work for it, do join the Nexford movement.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Clarissa.
Yeah.
John, please, as well.
Sure. My advice would be, I've been thinking about doing my MBA for the past God knows how many years. And every time I get like a cold turkey is like a cold feet is like, I don't think I'm ready for it now. And then when I actually jumped into it and I started, I was like, why didn't I do that long time ago? So if you're really thinking about it, just jump right into it, enjoy the journey, enjoy learning and adding more experience to you. And so far, it has been a fun journey with Nexford. I'm not coming under any stress or I feel like it's overwhelming. It's the complete other way around. So.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can jump to the Q&A. We've got a couple of good questions here. Hopefully we can get to them all. First of all, we have a question from Tabello, right? How are international job opportunities for Nexford graduates? So that is a great question, actually. And of course, at Nexford, we can't specifically guarantee jobs, right? But we understand that a job is what you're ultimately after. So all we can promise is to empower you with the skills you need to have the best chance to get the job that you're looking for, right? So the job skills you learn at Nexford actually will prepare you to apply for jobs. As you can tell, like we talked about, the career services portal and the career advisor and everything and all of the different, resources you get access to as an Nexford learner, all of which help you to advance, in your career, whether you're trying to look for, another job or you want to advance in the career that you already have. So while we can't say what job you're going to get, we're definitely here to help you reach your goals. And in fact, to find out what employers want, we actually asked them. So we've done our research. We used AI to survey, 30 million job openings. We interviewed Fortune 500 leaders who employ over 2.5 million people. And that way, and through all of that research, we designed our programs at Nexford, which we also regularly update depending on, any sort of huge changes around the world and in the business market, right? So that way we actually teach you the skills you need for the jobs that you want. So I think that sort of answers your question about whether or not it can really sort of help your career. Okay, we have a question from Conan. So for how long do we have access to online material? So as an Nexford learner, you would have access only during your program, right? So while you're learning at Nexford, you would have access to all of the online material. But let me share my screen for a second here. So if you've graduated already and you wish to still have access to everything you had access to as a Nexford learner, you can join something called Alumni Access. So this is just for $15 a month or $150 a year. And with this, you can still have access to all of, LinkedIn Learning. You can revisit your courses anytime. You'll still have access to the NXU library we showed you guys earlier, which actually has over 60 million resources, right? You even have a Microsoft 365 license. And if you're in Africa, then you also have IBM Digital Nation Africa access. So if you want to still have access to all of that, you can actually ask our team about how to join Alumni Access. Right, here's a question from Rita. What happens when you're not able to meet up with deadlines? Dr. Bill, do you mind answering this one?
Yes, normally that becomes an issue. Just notify your professor. We all have issues. Life events happen. I can't even begin to list them all, but yes, it's just good to let your professor know. Say, please, may I have an extra day or two to do this? I ran into this problem and I couldn't make it. Again, this is not a major event. It's a little bump, and we can 99.9% of the time find a solution for that. Not a major consideration, and I've never heard of someone being denied a few days to accomplish something.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Dr. Bill. Okay, here's another question I might want you to answer. So could you expatiate on similarity index when assignments are submitted?
The similarity index, I'm assuming you're referring to the Turnitin reports.
Yes.
And all that does is tell you how many of your words and the order of them match what's out there on the internet. That is a similarity index. It's a measurement of your paper versus what else is out there written in the exact same format and same content.
Perfect. All right. We had an anonymous question. Do we have an online library? So I believe that's been answered, right? So I showed you guys the NXU library with all those resources. Let's see what else. We had a lot, guys, if you guys have any more questions, we're answering them now. So I think it's best to send them to the Q&A section or the Q&A box. But let me also go over the chat to see if we missed any important questions. So again, for anybody who wasn't able to hear us or having any network issues, please rest assured you're going to receive a recording anyway of this webinar straight to your mailbox. So please stay tuned for that within the coming days. And if anybody wants more of an in-depth, look of the Nexford virtual environment, you can book a one-on-one with me as well, right? So I can give you like a mini tour of the online platform. Okay, we had a question from Carlos Roberto. Will there be a regular online gathering with other students enrolled in the same program with us? I guess that would be a great moment to create network with one another. That's definitely a great question. So there are many ways that you can, connect and network with learners around the world. So one of which, like I showed earlier, is definitely you can chat with them, you can private message them, you can join them in certain calls, but there will also be certain courses where you'll be asked to do a group project with other learners. You'll definitely be working much more closely with certain learners through that. There are discussion forums where you can chat with them. We have WhatsApp groups, so there are specific learner WhatsApp groups, some of which are country specific, some of which are program specific. So you can join those as well. So there's a ton of ways you can connect with learners, online and even offline sometimes. So you just like follow our events page as well on Nexford. You'll see that in select countries around the world, we sometimes hold actual physical events that you can attend as well if you want a chance to be able to meet other learners in person. Okay, we have a question here from Olu Fikayo, right? Hi, how do I enroll and what are the requirements? I'm interested in the BBA and starting a tech startup. Well, first of all, congrats on choosing, right? So that's amazing that you have your eyes, set on something specific that you wish to apply to. So you are interested in the BBA. So first of all, the admission requirements are quite easy to remember, I would say, regardless of what program you're applying to. So for the BBA, there would be three main things. So of course, you need to have a valid form of identification, right? So you can reach out to our team to know all the different types of identification that we actually require. You can even check that out on our admissions page, right? So there, if you don't have a national ID, you can use a passport, you can use a voter's card, you can use your birth certificate with a photo and so on. So you'll find different options. Just we need to, find a way to prove that you are who you are, right? When you're applying. And then we also need to see, a record of your previous education, right? So we need your previous history. So you'll need that for the BBA. That should be a high school certificate or its equivalent. So something that's equivalent to a secondary school education. And then finally, also an English certificate. So an English proficiency certificate. So we just need to see that you meet a certain level of English to be able to succeed through your program, right? So if you don't have this, something like the TOEFL or the IELTS, that's okay. You can go through our page as well on our website, our admissions page, to see what other form of proof that we accept. If you can also prove that you've studied in English all of your life as well, or your previous education, that could suffice. It could be through your CV, it could be through the company that you're working in. And finally, if otherwise, you can also take our free English test. So we have an English test that you can take. It's 50 minutes long. You can take it as many times as you like, and that should be fine as well. I hope that answers your question. All right, I think I'll take one more question, and then definitely for anybody else who had questions that wasn't answered, please, you guys, just feel free to reach our team. You'll see that we have a WhatsApp number, actually, you can speak to us on. You'll find that on our website. You can also email us at help@nexford.org. So definitely, if you have more questions, please feel free. All right, we have one last thing here from Redmi Note. Please, doctor, don't forget to send us your study fees and entry requirements. All right, that's from Bapa Ibrahim in Nigeria, definitely. All right, so we'll be sending you an email anyway with more information, with a lot of links to our website and everything for you to get more information. So just feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer any questions you have. All right, so I think that's about all the questions. Oh, sorry, we have one last one here, one squeezed in question here from Rejoice. Lee, can someone with your MBA go for PhD? That's a great question. So definitely you should be able to apply to a PhD with our MBA, but please keep in mind that everybody has different, requirements and policies to what they accept. So I would still recommend that you do your research and you check with the other institution to what sort of programs that they accept. Oh, Joseph, okay. You didn't discuss financial implications. Okay, so Nexford, we're one of the most affordable American universities in the world, and we've actually tailored our fees depending on where you live. So that is probably why I did not discuss the fees, because we have a lot of attendees today that come from different parts of the world. So depending on where you live, tuition may vary, right? But so I would need to know, Joseph, where you're actually based. But if you are based in Nigeria, then for our MBA, that would be $160 monthly. So regardless of where you live and the fees, the payment plan at Nexford is that you pay a fixed monthly tuition fee, right? And for the BBA in Nigeria, that would be $80. So again, guys, it depends on the country. It depends on, it varies from the program that you choose. If it's a course, then it's a single payment, right? If it's a certificate or if it's, a degree, then you would pay monthly. So you pay for the months that you study at Nexford, not as a whole, right? So you can pay like you're paying a monthly bill, right? So definitely go to our tuition page on our website to learn all about that. Right, that's about it, guys. So again, thanks so much for joining us today, and thanks for tuning in to the end. We had a lot of great questions. Please, if you have more questions, again, feel free to reach out to our team, and we'll definitely be sending you a recording of the webinar anyway. Thanks a lot, Dr. Bill and John and Clarissa, for joining us as well today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day or a great night.
Bye now. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.